Hello, hello. Welcome to the podcast, Theatre of Joy. Today we have with us Renu Soni, a name that inspires love in many hearts. Renu Soni has been a teacher, a mainstream teacher, and a teacher in alternative spaces also. She's a theatre person. She has been doing theatre. She facilitates huge workshops and classes and is also running an activity center for children, which is a lot more than just an activity center, called Our Magic Door. Our Magic Door. Our Magic Door. And R also stands for Renu, because she is the energy behind whatever happens in that community. She is the energy which gives it life, more than life. And I'm very excited about talking to her, because I'm sure I will and we will all learn a lot from her. And another thing, in the city of Nagpur, as in other places, she is single-handedly affecting and changing the perceptions around the relationships between children and adults. For many centuries, there is a certain way in which children behave with adults and adults behave with children. But that has to change now. It's a new world. It's always a new world. And she is single-handedly doing that in the city of Nagpur and for many others in other places. So thank you, Renu, for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having
I'm
me.
so overjoyed to have you.
I'm so honored to be here. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much.
So let's see what we create together
I
in
know,
this
magic,
half an hour that we
the
have.
magic that we can create,
that we
yeah.
can create together. So I'd like Renu also to talk more about herself. And so, Renu,
So I remember a childhood where I wasn't very happy with the teachers I had. So I made up my mind a long time back that I want to work with children, and everything just sort of fell into place. And I've been working for now maybe more than 40 years, because and like you said, in different schools, different like the mainstream, as well as like what our magic door is in Nagpur is totally not the mainstream. And but I also have worked in the mainstream. That's been fun too. But yes, I've evolved over the years, and I'm so grateful, because I think the children that walk in through Magic Door leave a mark on me and my staff and the space that we've created over there. And I have a strong conviction that things for me changed a lot when I came into theater, when I did theater, because before that I would see myself as what my social image should be like, but once I did theater with children, with the adults, it sort of made me look at me through my eye, that is me, and I shed so many inhibitions, and the way I thought changed for me, and it gave me such a lot of exposure, my children a lot of exposure. And I think combined together, theater and teaching has made me a person that I like, and I like working with children. They bring out the best in me. So yeah,
so
Magic
I
Door is,
love that. It made you a person that you like.
yeah,
Yeah.
really.
How many of us, just go through life hating ourselves or not liking ourselves or thinking that we are not enough and
Yeah.
we should be more and better?
Oh, I do go there many times.
Still.
Yeah, so I still go there, because see, it's entrained in us so much that we have to be a certain way. But and I will confess, I go there very often. I always feel, I mean, I wish I could do more. I don't work enough. I could be better, But the children, they make me better because they will bring you back into the present moment with a snap. So if you're not, when you're working with them and you're not with them, they are the first ones who come to know, and that's one thing I really love about walking into my center in the morning. I might have, some irritations or some worries, or maybe driving down to the center, I the traffic or whatever. But the moment I walk in, it just, it just evaporates, and I'm there, and I call the morning batches my pick me up tonic, because that's something which is, it's so fulfilling, it's so rewarding. At the end of the day, I feel good about myself. That's, I think, that's something I've been working on in my life for a long time, with a lot of modalities, and other stuff. But at the end of the day, if you come home feeling good about yourself, I think that is something I'm still working at, because I do go into spaces and places where I don't feel too good about
Yeah, but
myself.
what's right about that? Too?
Yeah, that's
because
true.
you'll
That's
bounce
true.
back.
Yeah.
And all of us too. All of us bounce
Yes.
back.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, just talk a little more about your theatre days.
Yeah, so when I
And-
came into theatre, I think it was somewhere in the late 90s, and I worked nearly nine years. We did a lot of theatre in Chandigarh, and I was struggling at that time with a lot of stuff going on in my life and my family and within me, and But it was like a sort of a catharsis for me, because um, it was one space where I could be just myself without, you know, I could be anything.
But it was a different kind of theatre. You sort
Yeah,
of
it was street
It was
theatre.
interactive, participative. You
Participative.
didn't mug up a script.
No,
And
no, no. That was the best. And when I started, like initially, I did that as a volunteer, as a participant. But when I started facilitating workshops, also, that was like, sometimes a child would say something and it would be like a slap on your face, that, oh my God, like I have not been there, or what am I doing, So, especially working with children, when you're doing theater with children, it is so grounding. It just, mm, I remember we were doing a workshop with one of the schools in Chandigarh here, and there were these children who were going through a lot of turmoil in their lives, in their personal lives at home, because parents and all wouldn't like, parenting was very different at that time, and now also it hasn't changed. Like when we talk about parenting, or we talk about dealing with relationships and all, I think the changes that we are seeing are happening only in pockets, because India is a huge country with so much of population. It's sometimes I meet people and I said, oh shit, you know this was something when I was a child, we went through this, and there are people who are going through the same thing now,
even as adults,
as
even
adults, as
old people.
as old people. I remember working with old people also, and it was like an awakening for us also. I used to feel that I don't want to be there. At the age of 60, 65, if a man is talking about his father with so much of hatred, I used to feel, I don't want to be there. I don't want my children to be there. So I think theater helped me become a better mom. And I've done my share of mistakes where both my children are concerned.
We all do.
I know. But when I look back at, what I am today, um, it was inevitable that those mistakes had to be made for me to be able to, I won't say rectify them, but at least to be aware of what,
and know where you want to be.
yeah, and know where I want to be, where not just me as a person, but where I want to be with my children, with my family, with my associates, with my staff. So my staff also, like handling 13, 14 people, and they all have their own
Things going on.
and not only in the center, they have things going on in their homes. So I have to make sure that they are comfortable in my center when they come in, because they carry their problems with them, no? And when you carry your problems into a place where you're working with the children, they know, they are more aware than we are, and they will know there is something wrong with the energy today. So whenever I have my staff meetings and all, I always keep saying, that we got to work it out
Together.
before you go there, because we are like, well, we are catering to children, and parents are trusting us with their children. It's very important that we be there for them all the time.
So maybe, so maybe I know I've met your staff, and I know you've chosen to be with them in a much different way than people think they have to be with the people who work for them. There's no command.
Yeah.
There is no, okay, you gotta, but there is also in another way. But you don't denigrate them and bring them down.
No.
And make them feel that they are not good enough.
No.
Yeah, you build on the person.
I have learned so much from them. I have been there. Most of my staff has been with me for the last 16, 15 years now, and I feel that it's the same goes with, when I'm talking about my staff sorting it out between themselves, it's the same with me. I got to sort it out too before I walk into the room. If I am upset with one of the staff members, I need to, I feel that I'm also that sort of a person that if I have an upset with, even with the person who's working with me at home, I can't sleep the night if I don't sort it out,
Don't we all?
I actually feel that, I have started working on my relationships, and like we say, children see what you do more than they listen to you. So it's the same with the staff, no? They see how I deal with each other, how I deal with the parents who come in, how I deal with the children. So they learn. And yes, I do, feel good about this, because I have staff who tells me that, it's working here is different, Yeah,
And they
so,
stick
yeah.
with you.
Yeah. We've completed 17 years of Magic Door last year, and my right hand is with me for the last 16 and a half years now, So yeah.
And they seem to all own the place
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah.
Own whatever is going on. It's their work.
Yeah.
And that's a very difficult equation to build with the people who you work with and work for, and even to who work for you.
Yeah,
If you
I've
go into all
learned
those-
over the 17 years. I've also grown, making mistakes, learning with them. I've grown. Yeah, but this ownership is, I feel, very important, because if they're not going to own what is happening there, it'll be like in any other job.
Yes.
So for people who work for me, like I have Sapna with me, she feels it's her own center, when, people, other staff that is working over there, Kavita, there are lots of people, they feel it's their place, and I've learned to delegate, which took me,
Which is very tough,
which is very difficult, which was very difficult for me, because the first time I ever left the center with somebody was when I went to England for some time. And like when you talk about ownership, I remember sending a notice to the parents that I will not be here for 3 weeks, And it was so amazing that each parent, they decided amongst themselves who will be on call.
Oh, wow.
It was amazing. There was one parent who was always on call, that if there's an emergency, they can drive, whatever. It was amazing. And I never asked for it. They were just there. They sent me a list Monday, this one on call. It was like amazing.
And now, I mean, the relationship with school teachers and parents and school administration, I think we all know how polarized that is, how each blames the other. And,
I
finally
know.
they end up blaming the kids for what's happening.
I learned this from theatre. Because I remember that, when I started working, so there are So in this theater that we've been doing, community theater, it was not one person's responsibility. In the other theater where you work, it's the director or the producer or whoever is, over here it was each one's. I also remember that there were times when one person was not available, and we all knew the part or the roles of every other participant, every other actor, and we would just, it was just, the best game I learned in theater was at ABC. You remember where you have to stand, one team has to stand and they have to follow instructions. And the instructor says, okay, form with your movement and your bodies, form an alphabet. Okay, so alphabet B. And the trick was that nobody could instruct anybody. Nobody could tell anybody, like that's the way the game was played. So whoever felt the sense of, that okay, I have to get this figure made, or this digit made, so I need to go and stand in a particular place, and nobody could say कि तुम वहाँ खड़े हो जाओ और तुम वहाँ चले जाओ. We had to do it. I relate that to every aspect in my life.
Yes.
And that's one of my favorite games, and it's so difficult to play, even after you played it for so many years, that, that sense of that's what you're saying, the ownership thing. I have learned it from that. So, and that is a very important part of my center. And one thing I very proudly say, that there are 40-50 children, but even if the facilitator is not from that batch, the children are comfortable with that. So there are 12, 13 people with the children, whether they are in her class or not, they are comfortable with
all of them.
All of them. And that's really thanks to the people also working for me, because they have that sense of ownership.
And not in competition with each other. And you do not play on the competition.
No. I
it's
tell
so easy
them,
to do that.
I tell them that this is like, supposing now it's the graduation ceremony we have for the tiny tots. We write a poem for each child. We have a handwritten, and I still do handwritten poems, because parents, everybody tells me, in this age, can't you just go type it, But I still have handwritten stuff from my children in my, and I feel this is something that it's something that they'll treasure, and they do. So imagine writing 40, 50 poems. I write them, or one of my staff members writes them. But it's such a collective work. It's not that the child is in your class, so you help make the poem, or you, of course, they know the children a little more than the others, so they will give us the pointers. But it's like, this has to be done, So I'm very grateful to my staff, and it's never one person's job. Yeah, the ideology or what I work could be single-handed, but I couldn't have done it alone. So I'm very grateful to people.
And the poems are such an amazing gift. You have to really know the child, and not only the negatives, but build on the positives. So that the child treasures the poem and actually has a sense of being, which, children nowadays are missing. They all are part of a herd. That day somebody was telling me about that she was in a class, a podcast we did earlier, which had 100 children. Imagine. And
we have kept the ratio to 1:5.
Yeah, so but even if there were 100 children, which have been in many workshops.
We have been in many workshops,
we have written poems for each child.
And this is a gift I got from theatre. Because this is something I still had the poems that were written for me in those workshops, and I think it's something I always treasure, And I also make it a point sometimes, not every year, but sometimes to write. The staff sits and writes poems for each other. So we also have that.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's amazing.
We should do that more now. I thought about it. Thanks. We haven't done it in a long time.
Earlier you said something which reminded me that, was it after you started the center or before, You were running a healing circle. I mean, you were
Oh yes.
facilitating and bringing people together into a healing
Yeah,
circle.
yeah. That was really amazing. No, it was after the center. It was in the center only, and it was we ran it for 7 years,
Oh wow.
and it was, I would say, selfless service to myself because I grew so much. I mean, I still meet people who tell me, those 7 years and those workshops changed their lives, and there was we never knew the art of asking a question at that time, you know but during that those 7 years, whatever, well, it was like a on demand. Okay, let's do something on guilt. Okay, let's do something on shame, or let's do something on relationships. And I remember I used to sit and design and plan the workshops, and today if I have to go for a workshop, I don't have to plan.
Yes, it's
It's
already
all
there.
there, but it's all there because of those 7 years. It was really so rewarding for me, and I made lifelong friends.
Yeah. And words like guilt, shame,
Yeah,
and these are things you hide.
yeah,
You don't bring it out, open it out, and
yeah.
talk with people. And circles like these help.
Yeah, and we organized a lot of workshops. We had someone who came in for Louis Hay workshop. Then we had someone who did a soul cleansing or something. It was good fun. Everybody's now, like, there are lots of people telling me you should restart that again. Yeah.
And this also happened in the interactive theater.
Yeah, totally. We did theater exercises. And then I've also been doing, like, now I don't do it very often, but we've also, every year we had summer workshops. So we've been doing theater workshops with children. And sometimes facilitators from Chandigarh my theater people have come to help me, do the plays and all. Yeah, but I did realize in that, that like we say in community theater, the end product is not what we are looking at. We are looking at the whole process, and I used to feel, that the process was so important that preparing those little ones, they were 8 to 10, 15 age group, preparing them for the final production that the parents would come and look at, just took the essence away from that. So what I started doing was, I never told them it's a production. I told them it's a presentation. So a child will just come and do something on the stage. It's not going to be rehearsed. It's because it just took the whole thing away from the process. So that's what we did for some time. Yeah, and all the workshops that I do a lot of workshops on relationships, on emotional quotient, how to get your emotional quotient up so that you can raise emotionally secure children. So that's all, like, I start with theater exercises that I picked up here. Yeah.
Brilliant.
And in my personal life also, I think using the techniques that I learned, or the games that I played, or the way to connect to another person, I think my personal relationships have also flowered and blossomed. And like, I was listening to this song the other day. I love music also. So this song the other day was talking about relationship, there a particular relationship that was awesome, and people were younger, or when the couple was younger. So it just set me thinking, that I've got my relationship today is even more awesome than it was when I was younger, because that time I was learning so much. So I was thinking, yeah, I should write something about what's happening in my life now. I wish I could write though.
You can.
Not, I haven't really. No, yeah, we do poetry for the children, and some of them are really good.
Yes,
Sometimes you only say, "Oh wow, how did that come out?" Yeah, but
Yeah,
yes.
So what about the city of Nagpur?
Nagpur has been kind to me, very kind. So I went to Nagpur at the brink of menopause.
It's a give and take relationship.
Yeah, I know that. I know that now. I acknowledge that now. I never did earlier. So it was like an empty nest syndrome, because both the kids had left home. It was like, my husband and I lived apart for some time because of some, the children had to be brought up, and he was in a very godforsaken place tiny little
Yeah,
place. There was not much
like
experience,
life.
like exposure. So we were, and so when I went back to Nagpur, it was like empty nest, where, building a relationship that was only on phone calls, and maybe after 3 months, meeting after 2 or 3 months, and at the brink of menopause. So in a new city, new place, very few people. I knew very few people, so I joined a school, and that was fun. I did theater. I did proscenium theater there.
We need to wind up soon. So
Okay.
I just, and oh my God, I think we have to, you have to come here many, many, many more times.
I'd love to. I love talking
Yeah.
to you. Yeah.
So, just in a sense,
Yeah.
uh,
So it's been 18 years in Nagpur now, and it feels home.
hmm,
And the center
I know that
has,
you go and, give lectures and, I mean, talk to people in
yeah,
groups
I
and,
have been doing that. I've been also doing classes and workshops for children in colleges and all. But at the moment, the center is thankfully becoming a little larger, so it occupies a lot of my time. And I also teach English, which is also theater for me,
wow, Sone pe
because
suhaga.
I teach English. It's theater for me, because it's actually like, helping the ladies come out of, because it's for adults, helping the ladies come out for so much stuff. In fact, there was a time when I was on the hit list of many husbands, because apparently women had started changing. So yeah, that was also, so yeah, it's like it's a package of a lot of stuff. And I asked my landlord that, I'm extending my, सो ही टोल्ड मी कि अभी तो आप 60 के तो हो गए हो, अब आपको रिटायर करना चाहिए. व्हाई आर यू डूइंग स्टफ,
Starting something now.
यू आर स्टार्टिंग समथिंग नाउ, यू नीड टू रिलैक्स. ओह गॉड, आई सेड नो नो, अभी तो शुरुआत है.
I know, and I wish every city on the globe had a gift of Renu Soni given to them.
Oh, thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much for coming on the podcast. I'm so
Thank
excited,
you.
and we have to do this many, many more times.
Yeah, I loved being here. Thank you. It's nice talking about yourself like this, really
Of
nice.
course, it
Thank you
is.
so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.